Well, let's start with some news from cricket, and of course, that's going to be the point of discussion now. In a stunning display, Australia secured a dominant 10-wicket win against India in the day-night test at Adelaide, levelling the Border Gavaskar Trophy, which now stands at 1 each. Aussie skipper Pat Cummins was the standout performer. He claimed a brilliant 5-wicket haul to bowl India out for just 175 in their second innings. With a slim lead of just 18 runs, India crumbled under the relentless pace attack of Cummins and Mitchell Starc starting day 3 at 128 for 5. Indian batters couldn't withstand the Australian onslaught and were bowled out for just 175 runs. Now chasing just 19 runs, Australian openers in fact just needed 3.2 overs to seal the victory, sparking wild celebrations at a packed Adelaide Oval. With today's defeat now, Indian hopes of making it to the World Test Championship final have also suffered a massive blow. Australia's win catapults them to the top of the World Test Championship standings, while India has dropped to the third position behind South Africa. Additionally, this defeat also sees Rohit Sharma join Virat Kohli, MS Dhoni and Datta Gaikwad for the most consecutive test defeats as an Indian captain, now with 4 straight losses in test matches. We'll be discussing this and of course the condition of India right now, not just in the Border Gavaskar Trophy but also as far as the World Test Championship is concerned. Joining us right now, Rajinder Amarnath, former cricketer, Vedam Jaishankar, sports journalist, and Nikhil Sharma, who's a sports commentator and an author. Rajinder ji, I'll start with you now. A lot of excitement about Adelaide. Of course, a lot of it was fueled by what happened in Perth as well. But we always knew that it was going to be difficult for the Indian team with the pink ball and especially against the likes of Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins. But the manner in which we lost, it's been disappointing.
I think after coming back so strongly at Perth, everybody expected that India will definitely put up a good show, despite not having the experience of playing with a pink ball. We are not used to playing day and night test matches so regularly, but one will have to give credit to the Australian team. They played to our game plan and it worked in their favor. And unfortunately, the Indian batting, which is supposed to be a very strong one, was found wanting in technique, because the way we played the fast bowlers, especially the short pitch deliveries, a lot of questions are going to be asked. And I wouldn't be surprised if this sort of a tactics is replayed by the Aussie fast bowlers against the Indian batsmen. They may prepare pitches which will have more bounce now, because they are used to playing on those pitches, not the Indians. And having subjugated them at Adelaide, which is supposed to be the batsman's paradise once upon a time, and we are seeing that if you played your strokes to the merit of the deliveries, you're bound to get runs on this pitch, as we have seen Head getting that brilliant century. But a lot of questions are going to be now asked about Rohit's captaincy. Did he shuffle his bowlers correctly? Was a combination of the team correct for this test match? And what needs to be done in the future test matches also? How will they tackle the fast bowlers in the remaining test matches? So these are a couple of questions, and we'll talk about the technique in this program and how they have been exposed against the short pitch deliveries by the Australian fast bowlers.
Absolutely. In fact, you're talking about Rohit Sharma's captaincy, and I think that has been a major talking point for cricketing fans across the nation. Vedam Jaishankar, now this is the same team that batted in Perth as well. This is the same bowling attack that we saw in Perth as well. But it's all right if we accept the fact that the team could have lost in Adelaide in the pink ball test. And of course, it's a big challenge. But the manner in which we lost and that competitive edge and the tactics that we saw on the field as well, clearly, Indian cricket fans have been left wanting for more as far as the captaincy is concerned, especially given what Rohit Sharma has managed to achieve, the infamous record with New Zealand defeating us at home as well. It could have been, a match that could have resurrected his captaincy career as far as test matches is concerned. But this clearly has been hugely disappointing from Rohit Sharma, even as far as captaincy is concerned.
Yes, Ashish, I 100% agree with you. Rohit Sharma could have been the inspiration, just like Jasprit Bumrah was the inspiration in the first test. But some of that inspiration was not coming through, both with the bat and even the field. I don't think he was that inspiring a figure. He was struggling. And I think that body shaming and other things, which was already happening during the practice, must have got to him also. And suddenly the Sunil Gavaskar making a comment that he should exercise before going into bat so that his feet start moving, that also would have played at the back of a mind. And if you're going to give up the opening slot and come at number 5 or number 6 or whatever, it is at that position that you have always played your cricket and you are expected to handle this. Now, these Australian fast bowlers are highly skilled. There's no doubt about it. They're highly skilled. And when it comes to ping ball cricket, they've been playing ping ball cricket from ages, right? From Glenn McGrath's time, they've been playing ping ball cricket. So you know that they'll come at you hard. Even somebody like Bolland, he's 35 years of age and tremendously experienced. But what we saw with our batting was either trying to hit the bowling or defend inadequately. You always knew that Mitchell Stark would come up with those in-swinging Yorkers. But it looked like the batsmen were surprised every time the ball got past their bat. And likewise, somebody like Cummins kept buying the ball short. Where was the need for you to repeatedly go after that bowling? I really don't understand. I can understand, yes, first innings you fell apart, you made 180, which was quite decent considering that you were in all sorts of trouble. But you learned nothing from it in the second innings. You batted just as poorly and maybe even worse in the second innings. And some of the shots were actually not of batsmen in command. It looked like strokes out of desperation.
Correct.
And that is a disappointing aspect because many of the batsmen in this lineup are hardened professionals.
Absolutely, Vedam, like you're rightly pointing out, it's not the defeat that's hurting Indian fans right now. It's the manner of defeat, and the fact that we lost now, it's going to be a long and uphill task to claim the Border Gavaskar trophy from here. And I'll, of course, now take this point across to Nikhil Sharma as well. Nikhil, a lot of headaches there for Team India, but the biggest headache for not just Team India, but also Rohit Sharma as a captain, none other than Travis Head. Now, every single team across the world seems to have a strategy against him, bowling that off-stump line and then bringing it back and, troubling him around there. But with India, especially captaincy of Rohit Sharma, there seems to be something amiss when it comes to Travis Head. Every single time he seems to get the better of us.
Ashish, we've been discussing that all day long today as well. Travis Head, I don't know if it's Rohit Sharma's captaincy or just the fact that, it's some teams that you're super confident against. You've played so much of your cricket in India, whether it's the World Cup, the 50-over World Cup, whether it's, the T20 IPL or just the Test. Travis Head seems to, love facing Indian bowlers, facing India. I think he likes that challenge. He likes the fact that there are so many people back in India watching him. Sometimes I think that spurs players on. More than anything else, I think he just loves facing Indian bowlers and he loves to make a point as far as India is concerned. But overall, I think it's a very disappointing test for us. We could do a lot of, post evaluation, but because we're right in the middle of the series, I don't think too much we cannot, we don't have time to kind of dissect everything and then let the team fall apart. I think the prudent thing right now, Ashish, is to have all the confidence going into the third test and try and win both those matches, or at least try and win one of them, so as to ensure that you're in good stead. I think India should play aggressive cricket. Somebody like Rishabh Pant, I know it doesn't look like a test match. He makes that cricket ground his arena. But I think we should play our natural cricket. Maybe we're too bogged down by the fact that the Aussies are great bowlers, they're fast, they're ball short. I think all of that, it's fairly straight up. We should go out there and be confident and play our shots. Ashish?
Well, one person that's definitely not bogged down is Mohammad Siraj. And of course, Rajinder Amarnath, we saw what happened there between him and Travis Head as well. Do you think this sets the tone for the rest of the series? Because even after that particular incident, we saw that extra spice as well coming in from the Australian cricketers. No doubt, they were under a lot of pressure coming into this test match. A lot of questions being raised about their batting attack, their bowling attack, their age as well. A lot of questions being asked. But this particular incident seems to have stoke that fire in the Aussies that we see and have been seeing for the past few years?
Well, it is nothing new about the Aussies. They love to get into that sort of a situation. And they talk a lot. They have the habit of yapping a lot in the field, whether they're bowling or they're batting. And I think as an Indian cricketer, we are not used to giving it back in the same coin. So I would have preferred Siraj to be more in concentrating what he wants to do, because there's no point to getting swayed with somebody who loves to get into a talk show. We are not the kind. Indians like to be more concentrative and get into the line and length and then pick up the wickets. Well, the new generation definitely have learned this sort of a trick to try and spoil the concentration of the opponent batsman. But Aussies are known; they are quite thick-skinned as far as if you throw
Well,
something
Mr.
to them,
Rajinder,
they will
there's a
not
certain
get affected. They will
22-year-old
not get
Indian
affected by
opener
it.
right now on Australian shores challenging their premium bowler, asking him and telling him, in fact, that his bowling is a bit slow. So clearly, this new generation of Indian players really don't take it lightly. They, in fact,
No, it is
don't mind
okay.
getting
It's
into a
okay. I
contest.
think it's perfectly fine if you are in a flow and you're getting the better of the bowler. Then you can throw a few punches before he starts getting you cornered. But once your flow is there, as we have seen the Indian team coming back at Perth in the second inning, and the batting was moving very smoothly. But here, if you look at the way this Indian batsman got out to short pitch deliveries, I have never seen the Kathakali been played on a cricket pitch as we have seen Indian batsmen doing it. The way they got out, it's quite embarrassing to see players of such high caliber not been able to negotiate those short pitch deliveries. Even when you're leaving the ball, you're still getting caught in slips. So there has to be some technical flaw which needs to be corrected as quickly as possible. If you don't, I think you will be in a deeper pit than
Right.
what you are in this test match.
Absolutely. In fact, you're talking about the aggressive side of Team India. And the problem here, I think a lot of Indian cricket fans would agree, is the fact that this aggressive nature and this competitive spirit came after Travis had already scored 140 runs. He had already taken the match away from us. So a little earlier would have definitely helped Team India's chances as well. And with them talking about the World Test Championship now seems to be slipping away from India at the moment, because we had it in our grasp. We were already preparing and planning and already discussing on our shows about how India is going to counter the challenges in England this time around at the Lord's Stadium in the World Test Championship final. But by the looks of it now, doesn't look like India will even make it to the final.
Ashish, I really don't think that we need to worry about that. We need to look at the task ahead. Because the task right now, the immediate task is taking on these Australians. And if you look at this test, you are all out in both innings put together for about 81 overs. You've just lasted 81 overs, lost 20 wickets in 81 overs. And that's a depressing sight. It's not the number of runs. You can't get all out in both innings for just for 81 overs. That means there's something seriously wrong with your batting, whether
Right.
defensive or trying to hook, whichever way you look at it. So I think we need to take it one step at a time. The next step is, of course, the test match coming forward. Australia had already planned this. Their idea was to, push through with a 2-0 lead. They were hoping that the Perth test will also go with them. They went with a bouncy track, but it backfired on them. But pink ball test, I think they were very confident of winning. They were hoping that they would make it 2-0 before it comes to a third test. But that hasn't happened. It's 1-1. So when you really look at it, we still have a big chance in this series. And I think that's what we need to focus on. If by chance we get into the world with the test final, fair enough. But I don't think we should look at the test final and miss what is right in front of us. That is the second, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth test. I think we need to be prepared for that with a better batting lineup, with a better batting effort, with a better bowling lineup and better bowling effort, and see what it is that we can win these small battles first.
A brilliant point, Vedam, because I was almost going to come to that now, because you mentioned the fact that we are playing so less I mean, the number of overs that we've gotten bowled out under, there definitely is a technical issue as well. And Nikhil, I want you to elaborate more on that. And we also have a graphic that's playing out on the screens right now. Let's keep it at that. This is, in fact, the shortest test match in history between India and Australia. 1031 balls is all it took for India to be losing this particular test match. And interestingly, Nikhil, the second the second on this list is the Indore Test in 2023. 1,135 balls is what it took for India to lose. Now, interesting fact here is that we might complain that this was a pink ball test. We are not used to pink ball tests, so we got bundled out under such less overs. But we lost in Indore as well, and that was a ranked turner. So clearly, it's not just about the pink ball. It's definitely something to do with Indian batting technique. We can't handle the swing bowling, neither can we handle the spin these days.
Ashish, I'd have a very strange possible view as far as maybe test matches don't need to be five-day affair anymore, and that's quite a a strange view. But I think a lot of test matches are getting over in day 3, day 4 nowadays. Also, a lot to do with if you look at, of course, they played 81 overs. But they also scored 350 odd runs in 81 overs. Back in the days, you take over maybe 120 overs, score at around between 2.5, 3 runs and over. Batting is much faster now, whether it's for the good or for the worse. The jury is out really. But I also feel, with the crowds that are coming in, especially for the pink ball test, I'm just happy it's Adelaide and it was not Perth. That would have really caused a lot of worry. As we all know, the lacquer on the pink ball is not natural like the one on the red ball. They have an extra layer of polyurethane on it, so the ball stays much harder, much longer, which makes it much tougher even to play the middle overs. So faster bowlers, with 3-4 of those that the Aussies have, there was a clear-cut advantage that they had, and I think the ploy that India had to play faster was good. But having said that, I think we're, as a team, as a unit, as young players, we're much better with faster bowling now, given the fact that we're so exposed to playing in the IPL and the T20 and even 50-day matches nowadays, or 50-over matches. India tends to kind of lose it in the middle somewhere, right? We're not the formidable side, 50-over side that we were once upon a time. So there are a lot of considerations here. But I think test matches are headed away where they'll be much shorter, maybe 3 days, 4 days at the max. 5-day tests sooner or later will become kind of history, because they're not batsmen who are going to bat, like Rahul Dravid, Lakshman, batting days together, shouldering balls.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that someone like Virat Kohli is struggling these days with finger spinners, underlines the fact that Indian batting definitely has some sort of an issue right now with spin bowling, and we definitely seem to be moving away from our strength. Gone are the days of Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, Sehwag, or even Tendulkar. We were, of course, force to be reckoned with as far as battling against spin is concerned. Rajinder ji, a couple of minutes left on the broadcast, and before we wrap this up, let's also take a look at the next test match. It's going to be at the Gabba. Last time, of course, the Australians welcomed us, and with both arms we entered, we laid siege, we broke down the Gabba fortress. Do you think it's going to repeat this time? Are we going to continue the siege, or do you think with this win, dominating win, Australia is in the driver's seat?
Well, to be honest, what Indian team needs to do is just forget about the test match at Adelaide. Go fresh into the fresh game, new game, go with an open mind, go for your positive approach and play to your strength. Forget about what Australians have done in the past, especially Perth and at Adelaide. You should stick to your strength, and I think things are going to fall. Indian team definitely has a very strong batting lineup. They have been exposed, no doubt about it, in Adelaide and even to an extent at Perth. But we have the capability to fight back. We have done it in the past. And I'm hoping that the middle order, what we have been discussing here, which has not fired at Adelaide, will come out in flying colors. They will do better. And they're going to bring smile on our faces. No doubt about that. Let's be more positive, and things will turn for India in a better manner.
Well, that's what the Indian cricket fans would be hoping, right? The fact that things could potentially turn. It's a very long series, 5 test matches. India still has a long way to go. It's 1-1. India has won the difficult battle at Perth. And of course, Adelaide was always going to be pretty much an unsurmountable task. But Team India definitely has done well so far. And 3 next test matches, Indian fans would be hoping that we definitely make a comeback. Rajinder ji and of course Nikhil Sharma and Vedam Jaishankar, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast, getting us your insights on this wonderful series that's playing out right now and something that we'll be tracking throughout as well.